This episode of Film Rights brought to you by Domain.com. Today on Film Right, we get into some basic lighting setups. Basic cinematography.
Yeah!
Setups.
Yeah!
Lighting.
Whoa!
You are so hyper.
Yeah!
Welcome to the Film Riot, the show that takes the mystery out of the effects and techniques, going to some of your favorite Hollywood films. I'm your host,
Ryan Conley.
That's right. And today we're getting into basically part 3 of our ongoing series about lighting. First we talked about the different types of lights that we have. Then we talked about the effects that you can get from each light on a subject. And now today we're going to get into basic lighting setups, some day stuff, and then some night stuff. So yeah, you know, let's do it. Let's do stuff. Kisses. So we're going to look at 2 setups which are very similar and ones that I made as simple as possible. But before we get started here, I really think that cinematography can't fully be taught. You can learn the basics and start to get some ideas of what other people do, but a lot of it is driven by taste and personal perspective. Very similar to writing, I think, actually. So what I'm going to be showing you are some basic ideas and starting points. From there, it's up to you to get creative and go crazy. First up, nighttime shot. So here we go. Here's our basic scene. We have this guy on his computer at night typing something, or maybe looking at dirty pictures. I hope not.
That's perverted.
To start us off with this scene, I'm just going to use light from this practical right here, which a practical is a light in a scene that you can actually see inside your actual shot. So right here, the practical would be this lamp on the table. But a practical could be anything, a lamp, a street light, headlights from a car, and so on. But to start the scene out, I'm going to use this one light that I have available and then build off that. I've heard a lot of great cinematographers say the same. Walk into a location, turn on one light, and build from there. This one light could be a lamp like this, or a window where the sun is shining through. But basically, I'm going to do this to find the motivation for the light, meaning a logical explanation for where the light is coming from within the scene. This isn't a really hard rule, one that has to be hardcore stuck to. It's broken all the time, but it is something to keep in mind. For instance, it might look odd in this scene if a bright green light was hitting the back of our actor's head. Something like this could pull your audience out of the scene because it doesn't make no dang sense. Am I right, Josh?
You're so right, Ryan!
You're so hyper. But for this shot, this practical is not enough. I've had to bump up my ISO way the freak up, and it's just now getting all grainy, and I do not want that. So I will add a light to bring up the intensity of the lamp. So right here I have my can light with a 75-watt bulb, and as you can see, I have my black wrap wrapped around the light to kill spill, as we talked about last week.
Who's Spill?
What?
You killed Spill?
Oh, jeez. And now with this added in, I am controlling the light spread a lot better, and I can make much more moody scene action happen.
It's like a woman.
Oh my goodness. And the can light is just off to the left and hitting Nick at about the same angle that the lamp is. But for me, this shot is a little boring and cheap looking, so the first thing I'm gonna do to add some depth is open the drapes curtains thingies back here. But then I will also add my flow light outside, hitting the window pane, so I can get sort of a moonlight lighty light. Yeah, I know, right? But still, the shot feels a little tighter than I want it to, so I will move my actor away from the wall and use a longer focal distance. So now I have about the same shot, but my background is much more out of focus, and I'm getting no light spill on the background from the lights I'm using on my actor, since we got a lot more distance happening there, which gives me way more control over my light on the background as well. So if I wanted to, I could stop here and have very contrasty noir-ish type image, but that isn't what I want, so I will add some more light. Now the one thing you can do is mess with how much contrast there is in the scene, which I will do this by adding a fill light. So I'll crack open my little softbox pointed at the ceiling so that the light is reflecting off the ceiling and filling the room. Now I can move the light closer or further away from my actor depending on how much fill I want in the scene. Now introducing this fill and moving it in, we are filling in some of those shadows and bringing up the overall detail in our scene. But again, this is not what I want for the scene. I do want to bring the background up a bit and add some separation between my actor and the background, but I don't want to lose that dark shadow I have on my actor's face. So instead, I will opt to add a second practical into the scene, which will bring up my background just a bit and add some good separation. And now that I have that, I can add a backlight onto my actor, simulating the light that is coming from that second practical. For this, I use my other LED panel and slap some CTO on it, which we also talked about that last week. So now I have some good depth to the shot with the window, nice separation on my actor from the background, and I was able to retain the moody look on his face that I wanted. Now, although I could stop here, and I do like how this is looking, I think for this shot, I want to add some detail to the left side of the frame. So to do this, I will add one light in the corner, and since I just wanted a little bit of light, I'm going to grab a desk lamp I have lying around and attach it to whatever is closest, point it at the corner, and there you go. And I'm pretty happy with that look. Now, cinematography isn't just about light. It's about a multitude of other things, including positioning of the actor and the camera. So say I wanted to make this scene feel a bit more intense or mysterious. One thing you could do is turn your actor away from us. This way, we're not in there with him visually. We are sort of cut off. Then I can use my key light to rim light him, leaving most of his face in the shadow. My actor is still nicely defined and separated thanks to all the background work we did, but we have a much more noir-ish type thing going on now. I really love doing this sort of thing, sort of playing with the lack of light sometimes, letting stuff fall into shadows for the right project. Of course, but I think it works really well for me. But even with this shot, you can again add some fill light to adjust how much you want as far as detail in the shadows, or how much you just want to fall off completely into darkness, or you can front light the actor just a little bit. There are so many different things you can do, but there you go, a basic contrasty night shot, and you can already see what I mean about being a taste and preference thing. My hope is that this will give you a few ideas to springboard off into your own awesome style. But next up is some daylight shooting, but first, sponsorific, right?
Hey, I'm still here.
You're If you're like, hey, I want a website, maybe for a blog, a business, or to post Photoshop pictures of you riding on the back of a giant winged dolphin.
Oh my god, I want to do that.
Yeah. Domain.com is the place for you. I've talked about how I've used Domain for my company and for the website for Tell, and how easy it just made everything. So whether you want to blog, create a website, showcase a portfolio, or set up a new email address at your personal domain, Domain is the best place to go. And the best part is the guys over at Domain.com want to hook you up. You can get 15% off your domain name and web hosting when you use the coupon code FilmRight when you're checking out at Domain.com. And don't forget, last week, we showed the skydiving domain ad with all the green screeny still in it, no visual effects, so you guys could download and add your own effects, so then you could possibly have yours shown on the show next week. So if you want to possibly have your version of our ad shown on the show next week, jump over, download, and add it as a video response to that video. We're going to pick the best one and show it next week, and there's already a few really funny ones, so jump on that. And to that I say booyah, and all I can think about is a giant winged dolphin now.
So awesome.
Domain.com.
Logo.
Okay, so now basically I'm jumping into the same shot, but this time during the day, and I've got my white balance set to about 5000K, so I'm letting the outside get a little bit blue, and I'm pulling that tungsten lamp's orange down a bit towards the white area. But as you can see with your eye face, I'm starting with just a practical again, but then, as you can see with your face eyes, it's not nearly intense enough, so I'll again flip on my can light to simulate the light coming from the lamp and jack up its intensity. But now, the scene is very boring to me, again, with the drapes shut. So we're gonna open them again to try to get some more depth, and bammy wham.
Bammy wham!
Now, since there is that window behind my actor, I'm again gonna add an LED as a backlight. I find that one of the main keys to controlling the look of an indoor day scene is fill light. How much you add or take away fill will say something about the time of day or type of day it is. So for me, without fill in a shot like this, it kind of looks like a really gloomy day, or possibly dawn or dusk, which you could.
Dawn.
Yeah, sure. Which you could easily make it look like dawn or dusk with a simple color grade. But if you're going for more of a bright and happy day look, you're going to want a lot more fill. So right here we have a very low-key shot, which is not what we want for a bright and happy type day shot. We're going to want something a lot more high-key. Now, for those of you wondering what high-key and low-key are basically the difference in the amount of shadow you let in your image. Low key is used for thrillers, drama, and so on, since it has a lot of contrast, while high key can be seen on sitcoms and most comedies since it's nice, bright, and happy. So during a bright and sunny day, most indoor settings will realistically have a lot of fill light to your actual eye, since the sunlight is coming in multiple windows and it's reflecting off all sorts of surfaces, filling your house with light, which is why when you see a day scene that looks really contrasty like this one, you get the impression that it must be a gloomy day outside. But that is not what we want, so I will add my fill light and crank it up until we have something that fits more of that happy day sort of look that I want, like this. And now as an example of high and low key, this shot would be low key, and this shot would be high key. Low key being very contrasty with lots of shadow, and high key, very little shadow areas at all. But there you go. This is a basic idea behind a simple daylight shot as well. And again, these are all just starting points, some basic ideas to hopefully get your brain to turning and moving in the right direction. As you can see, there are so many different directions you could take in any setup. It's all about what you want for your story.
Do I get a compass?
Ah, jeez.
Logo.
Okay, well that's it for today, and as always, Twitter,
And
then Facebook,
Facebook.
and that's that. But next week, we'll of course be getting into more cinematography stuffs, and soon color correction, because, you know, no shot is finished until it's been graded, I always say, and so does a lot of other people. But I'll see you next time when I pay for my electric bill with children's screams.
I don't know what that is, but I wish I did.